Needs research. So when you get an e-transcript that needs research, you're going to receive a burst report. And a burst report is a report that is automatically emailed to you, and you only receive it if it has data. So if you don't receive the burst report, that's a good thing. That means there's no request that needs research. If you receive the burst report, then that means it needs some work. So there's some manual work that has to be done. Now, the needs research burst report goes out 3 times a day. It goes out at 7 a.m., 12 p.m., and 3 p.m. Now, let's say that one day you're really busy and you see the report comes in at 7, you don't work it. It comes in at noon, you still don't have time to work it. It comes in at 3, you finally have time to work it. That means you only need to pull the 3 o'clock burst report and work it, because the orders will stay on the report until they're resolved, until the issue's resolved and the request can be processed or continues down the processing road to get processed. On the needs research burst report, there's going to be more than just the needs research. If you look at column C, you'll see this is the process code. In the last video you watched, we talked about the process codes. For this particular one, they have NRs and AR. So NR means needs research. AR means an attachment needs to be reviewed. And I'll do a separate video showing you how to review the attachment. This one's just going to focus on the NRs. I also want to note that sometimes your report will have an RG, and that's ready to generate. And when you have an RG, that means we've had an order that's been stuck at RG status for more than a day. So that order, you need to take a look at it. Something's wrong with it. It's not processing it. Something very common is the person doesn't have a Sebastian record, so the banner couldn't insert the record on SHARQTC, so then it stuck at RG status. Another thing that I've seen is there's a problem with the data on the transcript, specifically the transfer articulation data. So you want to take a look at that student's record, see if you can figure out why it didn't process, get it moving again, and if you can't, submit a service request for the ERP Student Services Specialist to take a look at it. But we'll look at the NR status first, and you'll notice I've blacked out some fields because I was trying to keep the student's information confidential. But you're going to see on this report, we try to pull in all the data from Chatour. Remember on the last video, I was saying on Chatour, they bring in all the data, the student's name, the social security number, the birthday, the address, the recipient, where did they attend, what campus they attended, when did they attend, did they earn any degrees. Anything that order contains that student provided for you is brought into Banner, and then we bring it onto this report to allow you to research it. So we'll go ahead and we'll look at row number 12. So you'll see row number 12, it has the order ID, it has needs research, it has a Banner verified ID. So this is an interesting order because this one is saying, okay, Banner has located this person through our matching rules, and it has inserted the Banner ID. This column, G, is the unverified Banner ID. This is an ID the student gave you on their request form, but Banner didn't verify that. That comes from a student telling you that. But the verified means Banner said, okay, this is this person's ID. But for some reason, even though Banner did a match, it's still saying it needs research. So if you scroll down the report a little further, you're going to see that it has the enrollment start date, the enrollment end date. The program name is really the campus they attended. That's how we have it set up. The year they started, the year they ended, and then the recipient. Now, also, if they would have told me a degree they had earned, that would be here and then the year. But this person only provided their start and end date and what campus they attended. So for this one, and I'm going to look at the directions straight out of the workbook that you're going to get to kind of go through it so you can see what you have to do. So you open your Cognos report, and I kind of give you some pointers on how to do this cleanly, especially if you have a lot to research. I might delete your headers, add a column after the Social Security column and title it Full Social Security Number. Add a column before column A and title it Findings. Because if you have a lot to research, this is going to kind of just clean it up. You're going to do all your research at one time, and then you'll go back to Chatour and update it as needed. Now, I'm not going to do that because I don't want to show your students full social in a video, but read through these directions to make sure you understand what we're trying to get you to do here. Remember, it's all about keeping yourself organized. Then it says if column H, banner verify ID, has a banner ID, this indicates the person doesn't have any academic history in banner. Because if they would have had academic history in banner, it would have moved on and processed. If there would have been a problem with the transcript, it would have got hung up at RG. But typically, every time I see where banner does a match, that person doesn't have any data in banner. So let's just look at this person. So we have the banner ID right here. So I'm going to go into banner. And I'm going to go into Shakur's. So there's two forms you can use to look for academic history. You can look at Shakur's, SHACORSC. That's going to give me the institutional data. Put in the banner ID here and then select go. Leave the term null because we're not looking for a specific term. We're just looking to see if this person has any data. And you're going to see there's no data. And there's also a message that says query calls no records to retrieve. Now, you also could go to SHATERM because SHATERM houses the institutional and transfer data. Now, typically, we're not in the business of printing a transcript that has none of our data on it but has transfer data. But Banner will do it if the person submitted the request. So on this form, you have to put the Banner ID, and then for course level codes, you put UG, and then you select Go. And you're going to see it says invalid code. When that happens, that's telling you this person does not exist on SHATERM. So I've validated that this person has no history in Banner. Yes, she has a general person record, but that could have come from any college in our system. So that doesn't guarantee she's going to have Banner data. So when that happens, you then have to look at the registration data as far as her history data. When did she attend? Okay, so she's saying she attended in 1992. If you look at that and you say, well, our data from 1992 does not exist in Banner, that means that's legacy data. So then you have to go dig in your legacy transcript data. So you'll see she said she attended Young Memorial in 1992. So that means that person on Young Memorial campus who's responsible for those legacy data transcripts would have to go and search for it. Now, if they found it, they would print it, and then this would be one that you would update it to manual. So let me go ahead and delete the header stuff like I had told you to do. And I'm going to go ahead and insert a column. And then right here, I would write manual. Because that's going to tell me when I go back to Chator, I'm going to have to insert or select the manual processing code for this order. Because I'm going to say this one has to be done manually. So let's go back to our directions. So it goes on to say that research your legacy data to locate the transcript, use columns O through V to gather information about where the transcript may be located in your legacy data. If transcript is not located in legacy data, update findings columns to NF, that means student not found. If transcript is located, update findings columns to manual, print, copy, and mail the transcript. So that's if they have a ID in column I. So they have an ID in column I. That means Banner has verified this is the person. They do exist in your system, but they got stuck at NR. That means they do not have academic history in Banner. So then you go and you research your legacy data. If they have legacy transcript, you print it, you mail it out, you update it as manual. If they don't have legacy, you update it as student not found. Now, I'm going to go to Chator, but I'm going to have to try to hide some stuff from y'all because I don't want you to see the actual student, but I want you to see the icons I'm going to have to select. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to access Chator. And then you see I'm going to take the Banner ID out, but I'm going to take the order ID right here. I'm going to do Control C to copy it, and then I'm going to do Control V to paste it into my field, and then I'm going to select Go. So once you select Go, you then would scroll, because when you select Go, you're right at the beginning where it's showing you the order ID and the name. but you would select go. And if it was a manual process, meaning it came from your legacy and you printed it and got it in the mail, you would select the manual processing icon. If it was a student not found, you couldn't find them in your legacy, there was no academic history, that's when you would select the student not found icon. Once you would select whichever icon you have to select, depending on your research, you would then select save. And this order would get updated. If you select NF, student not found, the outcome status would update to NF. If you selected manual processing, it would update to FO, meaning it was sent offline, meaning it was a paper request that was processed. So that was a needs research that had a banner ID in the verified banner field, but they didn't have any legacy data. They didn't have any data in banner. The next one would be you have an NR needs research, and in column H, the banner verified ID does not have a banner ID. And when that happens, that's when you would access Chatoor. You would enter the order ID in the order ID field, select go. You would go to the student information tab, and you would update the spreadsheet column titled the full Social Security number. Remember, we don't put the full Social Security number in the birth report because we can't send that out. It's not legal for you to do that. You do not share a person's Social Security number or personal data via email. After you have the Social Security number, then you would access papers. You would use the ellipsis next to the field to select alternate ID search, and you would query for the person using their last name and first name. Now, if the person doesn't exist in Banner, you would research your legacy data to locate the transcript, use columns O through V to gather information about where the transcript may be located in your legacy data. If transcript is not located in legacy data, update findings columns in your spreadsheet to NF, student not found. If transcript is located, update findings in column and spreadsheet to manual, print and copy and mail the transcript. If they exist in Banner, you would add the Banner ID to column H in your spreadsheet. You would access your term, enter the Banner ID, enter the level, UG, select Go. If the person has academic history in Banner, add Banner ID to the findings column in your spreadsheet. If the person does not have academic history in Banner, research your legacy data to locate the transcript. Use columns 0 through V to gather information about where the transcript may be located in your legacy data. If transcript is not located in your legacy data, update the findings column in your spreadsheet to NF. If transcript is located, update your findings columns to manual and print and copy mail the transcript. Updating Chatoor. So once you finish all your research, you would access Chatoor. If the finding columns has NF, you enter the order ID in the order ID field, select Go, select Student Not Found icon, select Save. If the findings column has manual, enter order ID in order ID field, select Go, select Manual Processing icon, and Save. If the findings column has Banner ID, enter order ID in order ID field, select Go, enter Banner ID, banner identification in the unverified ID field and save. And that will get that order moving again. So a lot of research has to go into it. So remember, if the banner verified field does not have a banner ID, that means Banner could not make a match. And now you have to do the research. You have to try to find the match. And I had said, go to the alternate. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to X out of here. I'm going to go to Spapers. And I'm going to use the alternate, and I'm going to show you why. So I'm on Spapers. I'm going to select the ellipse. I'm going to use alternate ID search. And the reason I'm doing that is just because it's going to give me a whole lot more data. So let me do Resolve. I think I have a Resolve tester in here. And I'm going to select Go. And you see what it does is it gives you the last 6 digits of the social, and it also shows me the birthday. So you're going to have that date on your spreadsheet because you added the full social. You have the birthday, so you can do a match. And if you go, oh, I think this is the person, and you want to open it up, you want to open up the record and see the full social to confirm, then you can double click on it and open up Scrapers and select Go. And you can get that full social, and then you can compare that full social to what's in your spreadsheet. So basically, you're trying to do what Banner couldn't do, and you're trying to find the person's Banner ID if they exist. Now, the person exists, then you would put the Banner ID. So let's say that this person did exist. This is the Banner ID. I would go to my spreadsheet, and in column A, I would put the Banner ID. That's telling me when I access Chatour, I need to put the Banner ID in. Okay, so I'm going to go back to Chatour. So when you're on Chatour, you would just take the Banner ID, or the order ID, you take the order ID from your column, you would do Control-C to copy it, and then you would go to Chatour, and you would do Control-V to paste it in, then you would select Go, and then you're on the transcript order and summary tab of the transcript request. And this is where you would enter the Banner ID, or you would select manual, or you would select student not found. And I'm going to scroll down because you have to scroll down. The beginning is the student's information, and that's why I have it hidden. But I'm going to scroll down to show you where you would enter the data. So right here, the Banner identification unverified ID, this is where you would enter the ID if you found the ID. That's where you would enter it. And then if you didn't find the student, you would select this icon. And if you manually processed it, you would select this one. And regardless whether you're entering the Banner ID, selecting student not found, or manual processing, as soon as you do it, you select Save, and that'll get that process moving to the next status code. Once you would do that, you would select Start Over, and it's going to bring you back to the key section to enter in your next order ID. And you would continue doing that until you got all the orders from your spreadsheet updated accordingly.